Hello everyone, this is your favorite Murtad live once again, and today we have a very interesting topic thanks to Mimi Hijab, who is our favorite Dawa person anyways. He has given us such beautiful things in the past that he is just simply unrefutable. He gave us so many rebuttals, and thanks to him, we have the holes in the narrative as well. But once again, he doesn't stop. He does not stop at all. And because he doesn't stop and he gives us more and more things to talk about, so we are going to talk about something very important due to him. So let's go to Mimi Hijab first. Let's see what he has to say before we look into the subject. So let me show you my screen, and I hope my screen is visible, clear, and you can see his face as well. He looks perfectly nice, right? All right. So let's see what he has to say before we look into it. Okay, Hijab, say.
ولقد زينا السماء الدنيا بمصابيح وجعلناها رجوما للشياطين, where it says that we have thereby adorned the sama dunya, the worldly heaven, with luminaries, and we have made them pelting things for the devils. And they say this means, or how could this be the case? They question. They say, how could it be that you have these luminaries in the sky that are pelting devils? This is very unscientific, they say.
Yes, that is very unscientific for sure, but he's going to say we shouldn't. Okay, let's see what he's going to say first.
And moreover, they would go and say that it's probably the case that Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he confused between the meteors, which are very small in size and composition, and stars, because when they may have seen shooting stars, they thought that they were actual stars, and therefore they argue this is showing you the unscientific nature of the authorship
By the way, he's going to use multiple verses by himself to say this is the same word for star used. So watch.
of the Quran. These are really the two arguments that are being made. And let's be honest, the first argument is a foolish argument, because science is predicated on methodological naturalism. So what they're doing is a category mistake fallacy. They're using something which is predicated on methodological naturalism to attempt to detect that which is clearly in the realms of the metaphysical, which is in this case the devil. The devil, the jinn, the angels, the heaven, hell, all of those things are seen as metaphysical things, things which are not meant to be detected or tappable by the scientific enterprise, by the five senses. And thus, the first part of their argument is actually shame on them, really, for having this limited knowledge on this kind of thing. And
Okay, so shame on them. We are talking about metaphysical things, and Quran is talking about metaphysical things when it comes to devil and jinns. But the problem is that the stars, or so-called the luminous objects, are actually objects. They are physical things. They are physical. So when a physical thing is thrown at a metaphysical thing, that is a huge problem in itself. You see, his basic refutation is all wrong. So yes, I agree. The devils are, or jinns, or whatever, are metaphysical thing. But Quran is throwing those metaphysical objects with physical objects. So the problem is with him, and the foolish is not the person who's asking, but he himself, because by claiming this, he refuted himself, that how can a physical thing be thrown at a metaphysical thing. All right. So let me show Hi Ajay and YP, welcome everyone who's watching, and I haven't seen their comments, so welcome everyone. So let's go to the Quran verses first. This is the verse that he spoke about, Quran chapter number 67, verse number 5. And verily we have beautified the world's heaven with lamps. Okay, yes. He said that when it comes to the zina of sama, adunya, it is talking about bimasabiha, which is lamps. It's not talking about stars. Okay, fair enough. But there are multiple verses where Allah has so-called used lamps, the same terminology. But once again, he's going to say that, so I'm not going to use that for now. I'm going to come on that after he will going to say that. But for now, let's talk about the metaphysics and the physics. So we have made them Rajuma as throwing objects or whatever, missiles. Obviously, missile is the latest terminology of it. Back in those days, it's the objects that are thrown, arrows or stuff like that. Does not matter whether it's missile or not, because obviously the new translation gives it a missile. Towards the devils, lil shayateen, towards the devil. So yes, devils are spiritual. 100% agree. But now Allah is throwing a physical objects to them. That's a big problem in itself. That's a big problem in itself. That but like he denied to actually talk about that. So let's look at him a little further, and then we will go into all of his refutations one by one. So let's see.
Entering an arena of polemics with this limited knowledge and embarrassing themselves and everybody else. But even more embarrassing is the fact that they are making this supplementary argument now that, well, the Prophet Muhammad must have been confusing between the meteors and the celestial spheres, the moon, the sun, the stars, all those things. All of them are in one category for the Prophet, and therefore he couldn't distinguish between a small rock-sized meteor and a huge star. And obviously, this is a foolish understanding. Actually, it's a foolish understanding of the verse itself because
Okay, it's a foolish understanding. It is a foolish understanding. But like, let's see. He's going to give one more verse.
chapter 65, verse 5, according to Ibn Kathir,
Okay, forget that. He's not. Okay, so over here, thank you, Mimi Hijab, for this beautiful refutation. I love that refutation because Muhammad was not confused, according to you. So let's go to verse number 65, 7. So here it says lambs. Perfect. I am with you, Mr. Mimi. I am with you over here. But is there any place where Allah literally used the word star? And he did. Let's see. Quran chapter number 86, verse number 3. Okay. It says an-najm. Okay. An-najm, the star. So let's read from verse number 1 and let's see what is happening here. And Allah is saying, by the heavens and the morning star, with Tariq. So Allah is swearing by the heaven and the morning star. And then Allah is saying, let's see what Allah is saying. And what will tell thee what the morning star is? Now Allah is going to tell. He is awesome. It is the star which is piercing. Wow. Wow. Nobody knew about that. Nobody knew about that. No human soul but had guardian over it. Awesome. So no soul but that is has over its protector. Wow, what a science of Allah. What a science of Allah. So first of all, Allah is swearing upon the heaven and the morning star. That is just so cool. I love it. I love it. Because like, what kind of a God is he, but that he has to swear on some star? But anyhow, does not matter. But let's see, now that we know what star, the word star is, it is a najm. Let's see what happens here. Quran chapter number 81, verse number 1. And Allah is saying, when the sun is wrapped up or the sun loses its light or whatever, and then what Allah says, verse number 2, I like Allah. Wa iza an-najum. What does star do? Fall by losing their luster. When the stars fall. Now, the actual word star is falling on earth. So, actually, now these stars are falling on earth. So, if the stars are falling on earth, now it's not lamps. You need to understand the fact over here. Over here, it's not lamps. It's the actual Arabic word star, an-najum. They are now falling on earth. Okay, they are falling. So assume they are falling. It doesn't say, oh, Mimi Hijab. It doesn't say earth. It doesn't say earth. Okay, where are they falling? So according to Allah, Allah raised up the heaven from the earth without the pillars. So now where are the stars falling? Now this is actually the star now. This is actually the star. Okay. Now let's see what else he has to say, because I have a lot to say on this subject, but I want to bring up all of his things before going out on my lecture day. So today is like a podcast day. All right. Hi, Carolina. Salam, Aaron. Everyone, welcome, welcome, welcome. We are going to have some fun today, guys. All right. Let's see what else he has to say.
He says, Ibn Kathir, who's a medieval scholar and exegete of the Quran, one of the most prolific actually, he says it's not the misbah itself, it's not the star itself. And yes, he believes it is a star. The masabih are referring to a star, even though the word masabih is not.
What? 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 It is. Thank you. I think you heard, guys.
Synonymous with the word stars, because masabih means luminaries, things which illuminate in the sky, which could be anything. I mean, anything which illuminates from the anthropocentric perspective. Anything from our humanly perspective which illuminates in the sky could be a misbah, because misbah literally is a lamp.
Allah used misbah for the stars because Allah used moon as qamar and Allah used shams as sun. So the remaining part are the stars. So sorry.
But Ibn Kathir takes the view it is the nujum, it is the stars, and he says,
what does Ibn Kathir took? Ibn Kathir took it as stars. Okay, but yes, Ibn Kathir said multiple things. So he's going to go to the second thing that Ibn Kathir said.
He says, actually, it's not the star itself which is pelting the devil. He says, it's not the star itself, but the solar flame which comes from the star. And you'll say, well, this is a long shot. How could he say that? And why would he say that? Well,
exactly, because now he is in 12th century. But anyhow,
actually, he was doing Tafsir al-Quran bil-Quran.
Oh, nice. He was doing Tafsir Quran by Quran. Okay, let's go.
Because he was exegeting the Quran with the Quran. Because if you look at chapter 38, verse number 10, it says, Illa
38:10. So remember, where did he go to? He go to 38:10. So we'll go there later.
It says, except for the one which follows it in course, and therefore it follows it, shihab, which is really a flame.
Oh.
Thaqib. So here, this flame, shihabun thaqib, is correlated with what is mentioned in chapter 38 of the Quran, Surah As-Safat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَقَدْ زَيَّنَّا السَّمَاءَ الدُّنْيَا بِزِينَةِ الْكَوَاكِبِ. We have therefore adorned the heavens with the zina, with the adornment of al-kawakib. Kawakib means, once again, it could mean stars.
It means what? Thank you, Mimi Hijab.
So here, if you correlate the two verses, it would suggest to us that actually it's not the star itself, but it's the shihab of the star and you say, okay, well, I'm not convinced yet. Maybe that is the case, but I'm not convinced. Okay, if you're not convinced, no problem, because there's another hadith.
Yes.
This one's in Bukhari where the
Now imagine he will not give you the hadith number. This one is in Bukhari. Now he's going to give a very vague statement. I'll take you to the hadith.
Prophet himself, he said, he says, Rubbama. It could be the case when he was talking to his companion that that devil is being pelted by Shihab.
Awesome. All right. So that's the end of Mr. Mimi Hijab. Now we are going to look at all of his refutations one by one. And I love that. And I love that. How these people try to deceive and they cannot run away, unfortunately. All right. So let's go to Sahih al-Bukhari. I'm going to go to this one first. Prophet set out the intention of going to Sak along with some of his companions. At the same time, a barrier was put between the devils and the news of the heaven. What was put? Devil were put between a barrier and the news of heaven. Fire commenced to be thrown at them. The devil went to their people, who asked them, "What is wrong with you?" They said, "A barrier has been placed between us and the news of heaven, and fire has been thrown at us." By the way, read the Arabic, read the Arabic, right? And you will see, بينكم وبيني خبر السماء لا شيء ترى مشارق الأرض ومغارب فانظروا ما إذا حال بينكم وبين خبر السماء. Okay, okay, we'll do that later. Okay, they said the thing which has put the barrier between you and the news of heaven must be something which has happened recently. So go eastward, go westwards, eastward and westward, and see what has put barrier between you and the news of heaven. Those who went towards Tama came across a prophet place called Nekhao, and it was the way of Sak, and the prophet was offering Fajr prayer and his companion. When they heard the Quran, they listened to it and said, "By Allah, this is the thing which have put barrier between us, the news of the heaven." They went to their people and said, "Oh people, verily we have heard a wonder recitation which shows the true path. We believe in it, would not ascribe partners to our Lord." Allah revealed the following verse, Surah Najm 72, say, "It has been revealed to me, and what was revealed to me was concerning about the jinns." So now, jinns, the devils, everyone are over here, and the fire is being thrown at them from the sky. Now, obviously, this doesn't seem very accurate, but we can go to the Tafsir of 67.5, and it says, Ibn Abbas, the first heaven, the nearest heaven basically, with stars, Allah has ordained with stars, and the stars such that some of them become bewitched. So some devils are bewitched. By the way, Muhammad was also bewitched. Some are killed while others are burned for the devils in the hereafter doom of, like, oh my goodness, awesome. Okay, now we go to another one. Allah has adorned the lowest heaven, one closest to the earth, with lamp stars, made them missile against the devil. Should they listen to this by the stealth? So now devils are trying to listen by the stealth, like they are hiding and they are trying to listen. In which case, meteor, now they are translating it as meteor, of fire detach itself from the star. Now he is the one who's using that it is a fire detached from the star. And then we can actually see, and these are sent towards killing the jinn. Now imagine this. His first refutation was that devils are metaphorical objects. They are not physical. But now we see physical object is attacking a metaphorical object. That's a one big problem. We can actually go to Ibn Kathir, which he actually used, and he say, what does he say? Where it is? Allah created. Okay, okay, okay. Mm, okay, okay. This refers to the star which has been placed in the heavens. Okay, he agrees that it is referring to the stars which have been placed in the heavens, some moving and some stationary in Allah's statement. Now that's another scientific problem that Ibn Kathir is saying. But because he's using Ibn Kathir, by the way, every star is moving. Our current star, which is the sun, is moving around 220 kilometers per hour. Okay, now what he says is, we have made them as missile to drive away shayateen, the devils, the pronoun them in this statement, and we have made them is the same type of statement as star being referred to as lamps. So he agreed 100%. Then he say, this does not mean that they are actually missiles. Okay, fair enough. Because the stars in the sky are not thrown. Okay, so he's like, not the stars thrown, rather it is the meteor beneath them. But this is something which is not even in the verse. And by the way, we will go into this as well, because this is what Ibn Kathir is saying. Now we have made them disgrace. So fair enough, I am perfectly fine with his current statement. But because devils are metaphorical and these objects are physical, we have another problem. Because according to the Sahih al-Bukhari, that which Mimi Hijab actually took reference and said in that Bukhari it says, then look what has happening. The Prophet said, if any of you rose from sleep and performed the ablution, he should wash his nose by putting water in it and blowing it out thrice, because the Satan has stayed in the upper part of the nose all night. So now this particular object is so small that he sleeps in the upper part of the nose. It is so tiny that it sleeps in the upper part of the nose. Yet there is a shooting star that is coming towards this guy, or a meteor coming towards this small object to kill it. By the way, you can actually throw him away by putting water in your nose as well. But somehow, the whole meteor is coming to kill this poor guy, which is too small. Yes, Carolina, time to listen to fairy tale. Ah, and then we also see in Bukhari how dirty this small tiny object is. When the Adhan is pronounced, Satan takes to his heels and passes wind with noise during his flight in order not to hear the Adhan. By the way, Adhan is the call for prayer, and it takes good 5 minutes to do the Adhan. Almost. This small tiny object which is living in your nose, which Allah throws the whole or part of the star to the earth to kill this guy, has such huge wind in his tummy that he throws it out with a lot of noise, which is called farting, so that he would not hear the adhan. Like, man, no, this is daif, this is so daif. Dude, this is Sahih al-Bukhari. This is Sahih al-Bukhari. Okay, this is not me. This is Sahih al-Bukhari. Anyhow, we can actually go to another verse of Quran where it is more clear how Allah does it. So this is Quran chapter number 37, verse number 6 to 10, because this is what he actually said at a later time without giving. No, he actually said 38:10. Sorry, this is 37, 6 to 10. Let's read this one as well. And we have adorned the lowest heaven with ornaments. Okay, al dunya with the what? Bizinatin, adorned with what? With what? Al kawakib. And he used this Arabic word, okay, for stars as well. Okay, now what happened? We, with security from every forwarded devil. So these are security, these are the protection for the devil, so the devil would not be able to come out. Interesting. They cannot listen to the highest chief, for they have planted from every side. Oh my goodness. Quran chapter number 37, verse number 8. They may not listen to the exalted assembly and are pelleted from every side. So these stars, like imagine these stars has to be so close to the earth that they are like protected automated machine guns or the missile silos that Allah has placed around the earth on top of the earth. Like, can anybody read these three verses and imagine this universe? No, you cannot imagine this universe by looking at these three verses. Yet, these Muslims says science and Islam. This is what Allah is claiming, not me. Allah is claiming. Outcast, and therein is a perpetual tournament, constant punishment for the devil. Now, what is devil trying to do? The one who actually try to move out by listening to the highest chief, this is what happens. They were thrown at them. These stars were thrown at them. Okay, so let's see what Ibn Kathir actually has to say about this verse. Okay. Okay, Ibn Kathir. And he tells us the adornment and protection of heaven comes from Allah. Okay. Allah has adorned the nearest heaven, the lowest heaven with the heavenly bodies of those among the people of the earth to look upon them. The stars and the planets in the sky. Okay, perfect. Okay, what did Allah do as well? We have made such lamps, missiles to drive away the shayateen, and he's referring 67:5. Let's see next. We have put the big stars in the heaven, and we have beautified it for the beholder. And we have guarded it from every outcast shaitan, except him who steals the hearing, then he is pursued by the flaming fire. What? What? And he's referring to chapter number 15, verse number 16 to 18. And we will go there as well, but later. So, what did Allah just simply do? There are bigger stars, there are smaller stars. And bigger stars, Allah protected. Smaller stars, Allah sends towards the shayateen who hears or listens to the speech. Like, wow. Does that make sense? Like this Satan is, Allah doesn't want this Satan to be guided at all. Against every rebellious Satan means every insolent and impudent devil when he wants to envelop or news in the heaven, a piercing fire comes and burns him. Allah may be glorified said, meaning they cannot reach the higher group, which refers to the heavens and the angels in them. When they speak of what has been revealed by Allah of His laws and decrees, we have already mentioned when explaining the hadith quoted. Like, imagine that. So, these devils are not allowed to reach the heaven when they actually listen to the news. Like, does that sounds a fairy tale or a nighttime story for kids? Probably a nighttime story for kids. Okay, the rest will go the same. Okay, means except for the one among the shayateen who managed to get something, which is a word he has heard from heaven. So now shaitan in this world is hearing something from the heavens. Then he throws it down to the one who is beneath him, who in turns throws it down to the one who is beneath him. Perhaps the flaming fire will strike him before he is able to throw it down, or perhaps he will be thrown it by the decree of Allah. Before the flaming fire strikes him and burns him, so the other devil takes it to soothsayer, as we have seen previously. Wow! Like, where did these guys came up with these fantastic stories? Like, man, Allah is like so free. He had nothing else to do but just to throw the devils these stones. By the way, Muslims does that. They throw the stones at a big walls, thinking they are three devils. Wow. But like that's a separate thing. Uh, but once again, this is a big issue. How does these people are actually claiming these kind of things without actually giving any reference. By the way, Mimi Hijab simply said this is metaphorical. This is the science cannot prove it. But like science is talking about what? Physical objects. These are physical objects thrown at metaphorical objects. Okay, so that's another big problem in itself. Let's go now to another verse of Quran. I'm gonna show you all the verses references where the devil is being beaten up by these stars. 72, 8 to 9. And and it says the jinn who listened the Quran, we had sought the heavens, but had found it filled with strong warden and meteors. Okay, Shuhab. Okay, let's see next one. And we used to sit on the place therein to listen. But he who listened now findeth a flame in wait for him. Awesome. The one who listens is going to have a flame thrown at him. Same thing, same story, but with a little difference. Let's look at it. And this tafsir is going to give you a lot of context. And I'm gonna show you something. Oh. And then he went on to narrate the rest of the hadith, which he has already mentioned. This is what caused them to seek the reason for this occurrence. So they set out searching in the east and the west. In the east and the west. Then he found the messenger of Allah reciting Quran while leading his companion in prayer. Thus they knew this, that Quran was the reason for the sky being guided. So now because the Quran is there in this world, hence the sky is now being guided. These devils cannot listen to the Quran and run towards the sky for the protection. Okay. Therefore some among them believed in it, and other became more rebellious in the transgression. A discussion of this has been preceded in the hadith. Forget that one. Let's see this one. What is happening? There is no doubt that when so many shooting stars became appearing in the sky. Now see, now this is very important. Everyone listen very carefully. So what happened was that there was a time when there was a lot of shooting star just came towards this earth. So there was like a meteor shower. That's what we call now. So there was a meteor shower, and so-called Muhammad was reciting the Quran at that time. Everyone was so amazed. Wow, so many stars falling down, and they were scared like hell. They were like, "Wow, stars! Oh my goodness, we'll burn, we'll burn, we'll burn!" And Muhammad said, "Don't worry. These are the devils and the jinns who heard the Quran and trying to reach to the heavens, and Allah is shooting them. Allah has a machine gun up there and he is shooting them." Like, imagine that. By the way, you must have seen always angel Gabriel is late. Not Gabriel, Jibrail. Always angel Jibrail is always late. You would see in Quran every time something has happened, then the Jibrail will come. Jibrail would never come before something has happened. No matter which verse you will actually pick up, the Jibrail will come after the event and tell Muhammad, you tell them this. Dude, tell Muhammad beforehand. Brother, you have to tell Muhammad before the thing is supposed to happen, not after that it has happened. But the meteor shower has happened, and it's horrified humans and jinns alike. They were very disturbed and alarmed by it. They thought that it was the destruction of the world. The sky was never guarded except if there was profit in the earth, or the religion of Allah was victorious and dominant in earth. So the devils before the time of Muhammad had taken sitting stations for themselves in the heaven of this world, and they would listen to the matters that occurred in the heavens. Wow. So the devils and the angels and the Allah are sitting in the space right outside the atmosphere of the earth, and they would all listen to each other right outside the atmosphere of the earth in the space where we have the satellites. Wow, we have the satellites right now over there. uh, so these satellites are sent by who? The kuffar, the devils by themselves anyways. Okay, whatever. So there were some satellite stations back at the time of Muhammad where the devils and the angels used to have majlis. You know, majlis means the gathering in the Arabic. So they used to have majlis, and they would hear the things that each one would be actually talking about. And then, but when Allah sent Muhammad as a prophet and messenger, they were suddenly piloted one night. So the night when the meteor shower happened, this was happened because now Muhammad is here. Now these devil cannot go up right out of the atmosphere to the space to hear what the angels are talking. By the way, imagine guys, all the angels are right outside the space of the earth, right outside the atmosphere of the earth. Remember that. This is not me saying. This is Ibn Kathir, which Mimi Hijab took the reference to. And this is Quran chapter number 72, verse number 8 of Ibn Kathir. So the people of Taif were frightened because of this, and they began to say, the dwellers of the sky have been destroyed. This was because they saw severe fires in the sky and shooting flames. They began fearing their servants and abandoning their luxuries. So said to them, he was referred to for judgment among them. Woe to you, people of Taif! Hold on to your wealth. Look at these guiding stars in the sky. If you see them remaining in their place, then the dwellers of the sky have not been destroyed. Rather, this has happened because meaning of Muhammad. And if you look and see that you can no longer see these stars, then verily the dwellers of the sky has been destroyed. So they anyhow. So the devils are also frightened during the night. Who told them? The devils were also frightened during the night. They went to Iblis and informed him of what happened. So now somebody has talked to the devil, and somebody is giving you the verdict. But the devils, the metaphorical so-called objects, which is being destroyed by the physical object, are talking. So the small devils are going to the big devil, the Iblis. So Iblis said, bring me a handful of dirt from every land so I may smell it. What? What? What does Iblis says? What? Okay. So they brought it. They brought what? Dirt from every land so that Iblis would smell it. And he smelled it and said, it is your friend in Makkah. So Muhammad is the friend of devils? I'm not saying that. Ibn Kathir is saying that. Then he sent a group of 7 jinns to Makkah, and they found the Prophet of Allah standing in prayer while reciting Quran. They drew near to him, eager to hear Quran, until their chest almost pressed against him. So now that I don't know what's the problem with Muhammad and the devils and the angels and everyone, like they always do everything through the chest. Muhammad punched Aisha on the chest. Umar punched Aisha on the chest. Uh, the angel Jibrail opened the chest of Muhammad and cleansed it with the holy water. Then the devils are going so close until they are so close to his chest. Like there is something wrong with the chest in the 7th century Arabia. There was some basic issue over there as well. Then they accepted Islam, and Allah revealed their matter to his messenger. So you have Muslim devils as well, by the way. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Great is Allah and his mystery. Oh, that is just so awesome. That is just so awesome. Anyhow, we have we have gone through a few of them, but like there was one more thing that I wanted to bring up because it uses the word in chapter number 37 verse number 5, because I didn't want it to show it right there and then. I showed you 37 5 to 10, but I wanted to show you something else because this was just there when I was reading these verses, and I just didn't want you to break the very interesting topic to show this. But now I want to show this because the major topic is almost done. So shaitan are having fun, they are enjoying, they are they're such nice devils. By the way, we have to look at this one as well. I'll show you one more thing. This will be very interesting. Then I will go here. This is Quran chapter number 15, verse number 16 to 20, which I showed you already. And here we will see something very interesting happening. Uh, which I missed earlier. Referring to sin, he made shooting stars to guard against the devils, to listen information conveyed at the highest height. If any devil breaches it, advancing, hoping to listen, a clear shooting star comes to him and destroys him. He may already have passed on whatever he had heard before the fire hit him to another devil below him. Now, the problem is if he has already conveyed the message, then Allah was already too late in killing him. Like the major other problem is if Allah is all knowing and all powerful and all wise, why can't he just kill him? Why can't he just like not let him take the next breath? Why does he has to send such nice heavenly objects to these people? Yeah, it is from Allah, not from God, Carolina. It's from Allah. So first of all, now, secondly, the purpose of shooting the star is already gone because he has already passed on whatever he has heard before him. Okay, that's another problem. But now look at this one. By the way, as I have shown you in the previous verse in Quran chapter number 78, this is right above the atmosphere. So, what is happening right above the atmosphere? When Allah decrees any matter in heaven, which is right above the atmosphere of the earth, because the shooting star only happens in the atmosphere, not beyond that. The angel beats their wings in submission to his word with a sound like a chain beating on a smooth rock. Wow. Oof. You know? I don't have chains myself, so I'm making the sound from my mouth, so you can imagine. It's not as near as Allah is trying to show it, but next time I'm gonna get a chain and I'm gonna beat that chain on a rock. This is how the angel talks. This is how the angel do the work. Ali and other sub-narrators said the sound reaches them. The sound reaches to who? The devils who are hiding in the heavens next to the angels, trying to listen what Allah is saying. When the fright leaves their angel's heart, they are asked, "What did your Lord say?" They respond, "The truth, and He is the Most High, the Most Great." So these who hope to hear something, listen, and they are standing one above the other. Sufyan, the narrator, described with a gesture, spreading the fingers of his right hand and holding it in such a way that the fingers were above one another. So, try to put your finger one above another. This is how he described it. The Satans are standing one above the other all the way to the skies. Sometimes the flaming fire hits one of these listeners before he is able to convey what he has heard to one who is beneath him. Sometimes, only sometimes, the flame touches him at the right spot at the right time, not always. and he is burned up. Or sometimes the fire does not hit him until he has spit on to one beneath him, until when he has spoken to the one beneath him. So he brings it to the earth. Perhaps, Sufyan said, until it reaches the earth, and he puts it into the mouth of the sorcerers or the fortune tellers, so that after telling 100 lies, he gets something right. And the people say, did he not tell us such and such a day, such and such would happen? And we found it to be true among the statement which we heard from the heavens. Then Allah mentioned his creation on the earth, how he spread it out in the firm mountain, valley, whatever, 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 whatever. But this is how Allah is doing his work. He can't even protect all his word not to reach to the devils on the earth because he is late in sending the fiery storm. Duz, 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 duz. It's just like Allah is missing, he's misfiring. I think some of the shooters are much better in this earth rather than Allah doing this. This is this is brilliant. This is the magnificent uh, metaphorical devil being shoot at by meteors or the stars or whatever. Because if they are meteors, so imagine the major problem. If they are meteors, then Allah's assembly is right outside the atmosphere. Mimi Hijab and the people like Mimi Hijab cannot have their cake and eat it too. The problem is if they are going to associate it with the meteor, then all this assembly is happening right outside the atmosphere of the earth. But that is the nearest heaven. Allah is on the furthest heaven, rather above the furthest heaven. So if Allah is above the furthest heaven, how come everything is happening right outside the atmosphere? But if Mimi Hijab say no, this is actually real stars, then the problem is how does the real star comes in 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 such small object? So no matter how you try to pick your ear of Quran, you will fall into problem after problem. You will fall into problem after problem. Ah, Allah, you need to have some common sense before doing all that. But anyhow, let's go to where I was trying to go because I'm going to show you something very interesting. So we were at Quran chapter number 15. This is Quran chapter number 55, verse number 18, by the way, just so that you know. This is the tafsir of Quran chapter number 15, verse number 16 to 20 of Ibn Kathir. So you should know where I am reading this. This is beautiful, by the way. You guys are going to enjoy it. So anyhow, let's go back to the initial verse which I have shown you, Quran chapter number 37:5. Okay, so we were talking about Quran chapter number 37, verse number 7 and 8, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now look what happened in Quran chapter number 37, verse number 5. Allah is saying that He is the Lord of the heavens, He is the Rabbus Samawati wal Ars, and all that is between them. Okay, and He is the Rabb of Al Masharik. Masharik is what? It is the easts. It is the easts with an S. So multiple easts. How many east are there? They don't even translate it right, but like I don't care. It is Rabbul Masharik. Okay. It is a ruler. By the way, this guy is saying sun rises. It is not sun rises. Mashrik means east. Masharik means east. East with an S. By the way, there is nothing called in the English dictionary. You will not be able to find easts because there is nothing called easts. There is only east. But in the Quran, you will find multiple easts. So Allah is the Rabb of easts, Masharik, like ruler, east. And then they'll say, oh, Allah is always talking about the in the royal we. Allah is always talking about in the royal we. Okay, no, because this is a grammatical problem. Because if we go to Quran chapter number 70, verse number 40, it says Rabbul Mashriq, Masharik wa Magharib. Now Allah is the Rabb of Masharik, means easts, and Magharib, and the wests. So now Allah is the Rabb of easts and wests. How many easts and wests are there? Because the royal we could be associated to Allah, but the royalty of the we couldn't be associated to east and west. Like how many royalties will you going to put in? You know. So Allah is the Lord of the easts and the wests. Like, can anybody tell me how to pronounce east and west in plural? Yep, Lisa. Only in Quran you will find this, because like I don't think I can actually find plural of east. Anyways, hey Shalom, Caesar John, welcome brother, welcome back. Mimi, okay, sorry. Mimi could use a good shower. Okay, let's see another one. Let me show you something more interesting, because now there is another grammatic issue. What? Quran chapter number 55, verse number 17. Rabbul Mashriqaini wa Rabbul Maghribain. So now in Arabic, you can actually have one, two, and plural. So in the previous verse, it is plural. Mashriqain, al Masharik. This is plural. Okay. In the verse previous to that, it is also Masharik. This is plural. Three and more. Okay. But in Quran chapter number 55, verse number 17, it is Rabbul Mashriqain, two easts, and Maghribain, two wests. So, so by the way, I need to comprehend this. Any Muslim in the whole wide world can tell me, number one, where are the two east and where are the two west? Or number two, if Allah is the Lord of two west and two east, when Allah is saying that He is the Lord of all the west and all the east, like multiple wests and multiple east, what are those wests and easts? And in Quran chapter number 55, verse number 17, how did Allah forget that there are more than two easts and more than two wests? So either Allah is the Lord of two wests and two easts, or Allah is the Lord of multiple wests or multiple easts. Somebody has to tell me this. Maybe Mimi Hijab next time, maybe he will be able to uh, give us some more insight into this, because like I cannot. Yes, uh, Mimi is too chicken to call for sure. He calls in a different way where he is the king, you know. But anyhow, one day he will call me. I know that it's not too far away now. He's going to come and he's going to try to refute me, but once again, by the Lord, by the blessing of the Holy Spirit, we're going to destroy him very fast. So now any muslim any muslim any muslim in the whole wide world, you can actually take this last passage of this video and cut it, make a small video, send it out. Which of the muslim will actually going to tell me is Allah is the Lord of two west or two east, or he is the Lord of all the west and all the east? One, at one location at least, there is a problem. If there are multiple wests and multiple easts, okay, if there are multiple west and multiple easts, then there is some problem somewhere in the somewhere in it. Okay, which one? Somebody has to tell me. Okay, so there are certain uh, tafasir. So let me give you the rebuttal as well. There are certain tafasir where they will say sun does not always rise at the same point in east, and sun from the summers to the winters, sun the east changes a little bit every time. So that is why Allah used mashriqain or sorry, that is why Allah used al masharik, the plural. Okay, fair enough. Okay, it is stupidity. Yes, I know that. But okay, I am fine. I might be able to take that very strange, unorthodox type of argument. But when Allah is saying two mashriks and two maghribs, how will you justify that then? Because now you suddenly justified al masharik and al magharib, but how will you justify two mashrik and two maghrib? Anyone? Okay, so probably no one. So now we have gone through a lot of things today, and I hope this session will give you guys some more information. The verses that I have used in this is Quran chapter number 67, verse number 5, which Mimi Hijab used. Then I used Quran chapter number 35, verse number 1 to 3. Then I used Quran chapter number 86, 1 to 3. Then I use Quran chapter number 81, verse number 2. And I use Quran chapter number 15, verse number 18. And that is the place where the angels are beating their winds in Ibn Kathir as well. And then we have used Quran chapter number 37, verse number 6 to 10. And we have used Quran chapter number 37, verse number 10. And we have used Quran chapter number 72, verse number 8 to 9. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. And in the Mashriqains, this is 55:17, and Al Masharik 70:40 and 37:5. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. A lot of people said that in the end I should actually summarize all the verses that I have used, so I have done that as well. I hope you guys will going to have a lot of fun with that. Any, if there is, I can't see any questions, so because most of them were fairy tales anyways. So the Lord of the two east, yes, Lord of two east and two west. All right, guys. May the Lord bless each and every one of you. Use these sessions to show the issues in the Quranic scriptures to our Muslim friends. Try to make them see the deception and the darkness in the Quran, in the Tafsir, in the Ahadith. Because the Muslim Dawa guys are doing so many things. Just like Mimi Hijab that I've shown you earlier, he's trying to go left, right. And the problem is these Muslims will not go and verify these things. They will just stay, listen, and they'll say, yes, Christian apologists were refuted. They were refuted. He used Ibn Kathir. He used this verse and this verse. Dude, they will never try to search by themselves. So this is why we are making a soup and we are giving it to them. Hey, there you go. Everything is in this soup. Read it. If you can't read it, listen to it. May the Lord Jesus give them the light, because there is light in him only, and through him we can see in darkness. Thank you so very much. May the Lord Jesus bless each and every one of you. Have a good night, evening, or morning, wherever you are. Yeshua Akbarul Azim. Amen.